it as simple as possible, double space, big font, right? So it's not intimidating, because credit can be very intimidating. And it just became something that, people call and, hey, just read my book. And they've gotten their scores up, 100, 150 points by reading the book. And then the other thing is, that lack and scarcity mentality that I had, that's the reason why I wrote the second book, The Secret to Breaking the Broke Code, because it is a mentality. It's really about how to break that broke thinking. And so what I did is I used my hardships as a blueprint to help other people, right? So because what I understand is that when you go through things in life, it's not just for you, it's for other people too.
Right.
So had I given up, had I not moved forward, there's so many people that would not be able to move forward because I hadn't done what I was supposed to do. And I know that it was a God-given gift, and it was my mission and my destiny to do what I'm supposed to do so that I can help other people. And that's how I live my life. So that's how I go. That's why I'm not afraid to take risks. I'm not afraid to just step out on faith and do certain things, because I know I'm not just doing it for me, especially as a Black woman, right? I'm doing it for these other people to see that it's possible.
Yeah, you're a model. You're a model. That's what you are. You're modeling the behavior now that you expect from the people around you, your children, people who know you, love you, respect you, touch you, they're touched by you. You're a model of that, right? And you've come through the fire that makes you even more credible, right?
Yeah.
You were not
Definitely
born with a silver spoon in your mouth, right? Now you ultimately had a silver spoon in your mouth, and it rested on you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was the obstacle in the way. That's what you, perhaps in a strange way, because God works in mysterious ways, perhaps that's what really needed to happen.
I believe so. No regrets.
Right, to extract the lessons and to become the model that you have become. Right, for example, you're sitting right now in a new office building. You're second, and you're now working on your third office building. Right?
Yeah.
Bought it right as the pandemic started. Right? But those are very, very, I mean, you asked me earlier before we were on camera, what kind of books do I like to read? And I told you, I like to read biographies, because I like to hear people's stories. I love to hear of their valleys and how they navigated their valleys and how they began to reclimb the mountain again, what they did, and the lessons that they learned. And certainly something as big as that in that. How old were you at that time?
So it was about 10 years ago when I filed bankruptcy. So actually going on 11. So I was 33. So I'm 44 now.
Yeah. So you've had the time to recover. You've repaired your credit, I'm sure. Right?
Oh yeah. 800 club. 800 club. Yes.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, I wish I could say that. My credit is good. It's not perfect yet. I'd like for it to be perfect. I have more work on that. Right. But being an entrepreneur or an entrepreneuse, that's, by the way, the female version of entrepreneur. I don't know.
I didn't know.
Right? That's the French derivative. Entrepreneur is a French word, but it is gender driven. It is basically, it means a male who takes risk. An entrepreneur is a female that takes risks. That's what they say in Paris. But again, we're in the United States. So you have this whole presentation that you give so magnificently. You do it at the Power Networking Conference about the broke code. What is the secret of the broke code? BROKE, with a period after each letter. So it's an acronym. Yeah. Why don't you present us, if you will, the broke code?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you before I start that, when you talked about, going through the fire, I think one of the things that keeps me motivated, Dr. Fraser, is I still smell the smoke on my behind, and it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, and I don't ever want to get in that position again. So it keeps you humble. That's for sure. When you go through those things, it keeps you humble, because at any given time, the rug can be pulled from under you. You know what I mean? The pandemic, the rug can be pulled up from under you. And to your
That's
point,
true.
you talked about my building. I just bought it, just opened up March 1st, then we get shut down, right? But thank God, I was fortunate to be one of those few Black folks that was able to get an SBA loan. And they
Wow.
called me the day of the pandemic and said, hey, 6 months, no mortgage. And so I shouted around the building. I was like, thank you, God.
Right.
But I understand that didn't have to happen, and other things can happen, and you just got to be ready. And you just can never come to a place where you feel like you've arrived, because anything can happen. So that keeps me grounded for sure. That and my mama telling me like you ain't all that. So you having a mama and
Right.
my assistant, they keep me grounded. Hey, you ain't all
Mama's
that.
right.
Your stuff still stank, young lady. So having that is definitely necessary. But the secret to breaking the broke code, it is an acronym, and it is really about mindset. I think one of the things that for people in general, the things that come out of our mouth, our words are the most important thing, I think, in humanity. The things that come out of your mouth, the things you say, they could be used to hurt, to harm, to humiliate, to humble. The things that we say, like if you say I'm broke, you're going to be broke. You know that. If you say I'm wealthy, if you speak life into your life, then you're going to have what it is that you always wanted. And I often refer to like Biggie Smalls. You're familiar with Notorious B.I.G.? He used to say, I'm ready to die. That was his first album, I'm ready to die. And what happened to Biggie Smalls? He died. Tupac talked about death all the time. And what happened to Tupac? He died. And so once we start speaking the things over our lives as though they already were or already are, the Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. So part of that is speaking differently about ourselves, speaking things out in the universe. I get up every morning and I say affirmations, and my affirmations are in my phone. So I say them, they're my goals every day. So the things that I want to happen or I want to manifest, the TED talk that I'm getting ready to do, it was an affirmation it was part of my affirmation, part of my goals that I spoke every day. And I didn't even have to audition for this TED talk. Somebody referred me. So I just believe the things that we say that
In Constance, that's a very high honor
thank
to
you.
get a TED talk.
Yeah.
Only the best of the best, the creme de la creme brulee, get to do a TED talk. So
I'm excited about it.
So anybody can go to the TED channel
Yeah.
on your laptop, or they even have a TED Talk radio program, and look you up and see that talk, right?
Yeah. September is coming up in September. So it'll be in
It's coming up.
September.
It's coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you did it. You're going to do it.
No, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
It's coming up in September. But that's part of the things that you're speaking into your life. And I really believe that. Like I did apply for a couple and I didn't get it. And this one I didn't even apply for and I got it. And so it's just that, the power of the tongue is important. So that, but the B in breaking the broke code, as it is an acronym, the B is having the belief. And when we talk about belief, most of us, especially Black folks, we believe in God, we believe in a higher power, and we believe in ourselves because we have the highest self-esteem out of everybody. We believe in ourselves, but I'm talking about the belief that you actually deserve what it is that's out there for you. So not just believing in God or believing in yourself, believing that you deserve it, because a lot of times, Dr. Fraser, we don't believe that we deserve things. We don't believe that we are capable of doing things. I remember when I got into real estate, my brother, he never thought that he could own a house, right? He thought that wasn't for him. That wasn't in the cards for him. And one of my missions in the beginning was, I want to just help my brother to get a house because he didn't believe that he deserved it. I know I have home buyer workshops and people say, I didn't believe that I deserved a house. Like, how do people not believe that they deserve a house? And there's so much lack out there, especially with predatory lending and redlining for us. And I tell my agents this all the time. There is so much opportunity because so many people need help, right? So we have an opportunity. We should never be broke because we have something that we can help them get and try to level the playing field and close a wealth gap. So believing that you deserve something is optimal to you being able to have it. You got to believe that you deserve it. Not just believe, but believing that you deserve it. That's the first thing.
Constance, where do you get the strength of your belief? I mean, how does that manifest in you? You decide, do you have a goal that you envision first, and
Yeah.
then you develop a belief system,
Yeah.
around achieving that goal? How does that manifest itself in you to believe in yourself? Right, that's a famous Jiminy Cricket
You
uh,
know,
song, right? Fabulous song, right?
yeah,
But it is so powerful. Belief.
yeah,
How
it
does that
is.
manifest in you?
Let me tell
Is it
you
just
where it
something you
started.
program yourself in your head?
Yeah. Let me tell you where it started. It started in Sunday school. It started in Sunday school. My aunt was my Sunday school teacher, Rosie Mae Jenkins. And she told me when I was 7 years old, she said, God loves you the same as he loves everybody else. So you are no more important than anybody, but you are no less important. Basically, you are not inferior to anybody, but you are also not superior to anybody. And I remember looking up to my auntie and I said, even the president of the United States? And she said, even the president of the United States. So when I was 7 years old, that belief system was placed in me by my auntie, who was my Sunday school teacher, that told me that I could have or do or be anything I wanted, because I was equally as important as a president of the United States. So I lived my life thinking, even with those pitfalls and everything, I still live my life thinking that I deserve this. I could have this. I could do this. Why can't I? I'm as important as President of the United States. He's no more important to me because God loves to say. My aunt placed that in me when I was 7, and I lived my life in that way. So that was just something that was implanted in me a long time ago, and it's really carried me, because I know, there was a time when we were going through, even before all the bankruptcy and the foreclosure, we were having a tough time, just being a young couple and having a new baby and trying to maintain everything. And I remember I was talking to my friend Keisha, and she said, how are you able to stay so positive? Because my mindset was, it's going to be greater later. I know I'm not going to be in this forever. And she was like, how are you able to stay so positive when you're going through all this stuff? You're behind on your mortgage. And I said, because I know where I am now is not where I'm going to be. This ain't it. And it was just that belief that was implanted in me when I was 7 years old, knowing that I deserved more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have 4 children. How old are they? And go ahead. How old are they?
Oh, my daughter, they're getting ready to turn. So my daughter will be 21. She goes to Hampton University. And I have a son that's getting ready to turn 16, 14, and 12. 12, 14, 16, and 21.
And you've been married 21 years to the same brother,
Yeah,
but you've been together what, 29 years or how?
29 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is, I mean, you're talking about that's the superwoman stereotype right there, the black superwoman stereotype. 4 children, an awesomely successful business. You employ a ton of people. You are a wife, a mother, a lover, a businesswoman, a philanthropist. Um, I mean,
God is good.
where do you get the energy from? I mean, what is your regimen?
My regimen, I get up about 4 o'clock every morning and pray and do my meditation and do my self stuff. And I get up and well, right now I can't go to the gym. I used to, and now I just walk 4.5 miles around the neighborhood, all the way around, come back, go into the office and work. And like I told you, I work maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm hanging out with the people at the office the rest of the day, like just shooting the breeze.
Right.
But when I have it in my mind that there's things I have to do. And to be honest with you, Dr. Fraser, like, I don't have the big idea. I'm not the smartest tool in the show. Trust me. I surround myself around smart people,
That's right.
and I listen to people, because other people have really great ideas, right? Most of them aren't going to execute on them. I'm listening. I'm an executor. So either somebody tells me you should do this, next day I'm doing it, or I hear something, and somebody else is not going to do it, so I'll do it. That's pretty much how I do it.
Yeah, I just gave a talk earlier before we got on the podcast tonight, and I said to the group that I was talking to that black people tend to want progress without execution, right? We talk about it, we pontificate ad nauseum about it, right? And but we don't want to execute. It's all
Yeah,
about execution, execution,
absolutely.
execution. And
Yeah.
like you said, most people will have a ton of ideas, but they just simply won't pull the trigger and they won't execute on it.
Yeah.
So B stands for
There's a
belief.
saying, I'm sorry.
B stands
Oh,
for belief.
yes. B stands
Then
for
you,
belief. Yes. But going back to what, let me just point on what you said is there's a saying that says the idea doesn't belong to he who thinks it, but he who executes it. And so there's a difference between the person who just thinks about it and the person who does it. And I'm that doer.
yeah.
So yeah, the
So,
R.
so,
Oh,
so the phrase "as a man thinketh, so is he," it's only half correct,
that's it.
right? Now, we
Yeah,
you got to give it a little credit because, of course, we know that it begins with the thought,
that's right.
right? The
Yeah.
thought. It's not fire ready aim. You got to
No.
think it, right? You
Yeah.
got to think it. You got to plan it, right? And then at some point in time, you got to execute it,
That's right.
right?
That's right. I actually think there's a I always tell people, the pathway to success is there's 5 steps. You got to think it, right? You have to have a thought or visualize, or the Bible says without a vision, my people perish. So first you got to think it. The second thing you have to do is you have to write it down, right? Write down the vision and make it plain. The third thing you have to do is you have to speak it if it's your affirmation. Speak that thing. My goals, I speak them every day. The fourth thing you have to do is you have to work it, because faith without works is dead. So you can be thinking ad nauseum, pontificating ad nauseum, but if you ain't working it, ain't nothing gonna happen. And then the fifth step is you receive it. So think about it, write it down, speak it, work it, and you will receive it. That's with anything. I believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean it's amazing. I mean that's exactly sort of the process I go through. I think it, I then envision it, and
Mhm.
then I begin talking about it, even though it doesn't exist. I
There we
talk
go.
about it as if it does exist or will exist shortly.
That's right.
Right? In other words, I sort of convince myself, right, to do what I've thought and then envisioned. I talk
Yes.
myself into it, right?
See, I study successful people like you, so I know what successful people do. I study you guys, so that's the reason why I know. I follow what you do, and I do the exact same thing, and I try to help other people. Tell them that's the simplest
That's
way
right.
to do it. Absolutely.
That's right. Brother Bedford, don't listen. This is too good of a conversation. You always have something to say. Don't be shy. If you wanna ask a question, you want to contribute something.
Hey,
This
brother.
is it's that kind of conversation tonight. Okay.
Let's
No,
talk.
no, this is great. I'm just taking copious notes. This is good stuff. I'm waiting on the R. I had the R
The
written
R,
down
right?
on my paper, so I'm ready for the R to come
That's
in.
right. We do have to end this tonight. You do
Right,
know
right,
that.
right, right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, so the R, the R is being ready to receive it. And when I talk about that, going back to when I filed bankruptcy, right? I had this money, but I wasn't ready to receive anything because of my mindset, right? So it's not just being the right person, the right place at the right time, or the right place at the right time, but it's about being the right person in the right place at the right time, right? Being in a place where you're ready to receive it. So back when I filed bankruptcy, I could not make any investments. But when the cannabis, I told you I'm an investor in a cannabis dispensary, right? And that was an intention that I set because I know that a lot of brothers have been prosecuted and are spending 25 years to life due to marijuana crimes. And I know that these other people are making millions, billions, and trillions of dollars in the same industry. So I said, I want to sit at the table. So I set the intention, and an opportunity came to me. That was another write down affirmation. I want to invest in cannabis. Somebody called me and said, hey, Constance, I got an investment on a cannabis dispensary. And I said, how much of a check do I need to write? Because I already knew it was something that I wanted to do. I started by, investing in stock and things like that. So it was a 6-figure investment, but within the year of that investment, I made my money back. So, it's a money.
Awesome.
Yeah. But had I been in that other mindset, I wasn't the right person in the right place at the right time. I wasn't ready to receive that blessing. So you got to get your mindset right to break the bro code, right? The O is being obsessed with your success. And it goes back to Think and Grow Rich, where he interviews all the millionaires and the influencers like yourself. I know, Dr. Fraser, that you are obsessed with your success. You probably eat, breathe, sleep, drink, think, everything that you do is intentional about that thing that you are doing. And that's how we have to be. We have to be laser focused, like no plan Bs. This is what it is. I don't see anything else. You have to be obsessed about it. Then you can start doing those other things. It's like when you were on my show and you said, get good at one thing, become an expert at one thing. Then you can start to expand, being obsessed about that one thing. And then those other things will start to branch off from there, right? And that's how we have to be. We got to be obsessed about that thing. The K is knowledge. All them books behind. Listen, y'all, Dr. Fraser, I asked Dr. Fraser, has he read all those books behind him? He said 2 times. But I read 25 times. And he said, but this library is small in comparison to the one I got at home. And my wife won't even let me bring another book home, right? That knowledge that you have is insane. And I'm sure it's, insatiable for you, and we have to have that. We got to invest in ourselves, right? Going to the conference, that was the investment. Getting coaches, going to conferences, going to workshops, meetups, network, all of those things contribute.
Right. Starting a nation. I
mean, how crazy is that, right?
Things like that. Oh, let's start a nation.
Who does that, right?
Let's have our own flag, right? Our own constitution. Let's write a declaration of interdependence.
Yes.
Right. I mean, right. Yeah. And it's risk and it's bold, but that's how you gotta do it.
Right. You making a mark. You've made a mark. You've affected millions, I'm sure, Dr. Fraser. And it's because of that knowledge that you just continue to pour into yourself. Like when you said that, I was like, man, I'm slacking on my macking. I am slipping. I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I gotta read more. I really did feel bad real quick. I was like, shoot, I gotta go, Audible won't even do. I need to have actual books.
So people left the conference last year and they said, well, what did Dr. Fraser do this year? Oh, he started a nation.
Right. Who does that?
It's in the cloud, and we have a constitution and no big deal. We'll grow it, and we'll be just fine. It'll be global.
Right. And he did, and so it is.
Right. You know what, Constance? No one gets excited about a small idea.
Yeah.
People get excited about big ideas. Right? Now, your idea, the size of your idea has to have some relative ratio to your capacity to pull it off. Right? For sure. But you ought to think bigger than you are. This is what I'm saying. Right? And that's what you've done. That's what you are.
You probably couldn't have started this 20 years ago, right? So it is relative to where you are in life, in your business, and what you're doing. So, this was the perfect time to start the nation. You have all of this time behind you. You've done all this work. You have millions of people following you. You have the respect of world leaders, right? It was the time. Now, Constance Carter can't start no nation, right? I am not
yet. You're only 44 now. You're only Constance. You're only 44, huh? You could be. Hey, let me drop one on Brother Bedford. You could be president of a nation.
All right. I may run.
That's right. There you go. All right. That's great. So
the E is the last one, and the E is really along the lines of being economical. Making sure that you're fiscally responsible, not being like me, spending everything as fast as it came in, everything going out. Sometimes you're going to have to make sacrifices in the short run so that you can go to the next level. And that is extremely important. You can't spend everything that comes in. You might have to forfeit those Jordans. And one of the things I always take from you, Dr. Fraser, I remember you said, I invest in the things that I buy. Don't buy Jordans. Why don't you own a piece of Nike? You know what I mean? Think differently about the way we spend our money. Become investors rather than consumers. You changed my life. I'm telling you. But I preach the same message. I basically took your speech and I just Constance Cartered it. Right.
That's you know what? That's the purpose of a great speech.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How many times have we repeated lines from the I Have a Dream speech?
True.
or the
True.
ballot or the bullet speech from
Yeah.
Malcolm, right? We can
Yeah,
think of the
absolutely.
great or the Abe Lincoln speech,
Yep.
right,
Yeah.
about the emancipation. So yes, that's the purpose of, you want people to take it and
Yeah.
to use it and to
Yeah. And to
repeat it
live it.
and live
Yes.
it and
Yes.
massage it and
Yes.
share it, right? That's
Yes.
the
Yes.
purpose. And so it's a compliment, really,
Yeah.
um, when someone like you crafts a TED Talk and the essence of that talk pulls from important ideas that have impacted your life.
Yeah.
That's that's as good as it gets,
Yeah. Well, I'm
right?
excited.
Because you could speak it. So I know it's going to be a great speech because A, you're living it.
Yeah.
So you're going to
Amen.
speak out of your own life,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that will engage people, that will attract people, that will connect with people because you're going to be really telling your story, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're going to communicate that story with lessons and experiences that you have learned. That's what it's
Right.
all about. And you're 44 years old. You got
44.
another 40 years left, right? So what are you going to do with
Amen to
the
that.
40
Amen to that.
years?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you
Yeah.
going to
I
do
got some
with
more stuff. I got a whole lot of living to do, Doc. I got a whole
Yeah,
lot of living to do.
yeah. And you have the resources, right?
Yeah.
Um, to live whatever life you want to live and to
Yeah.
create the life for your children, your family, our people,
Yeah.
um, however you deem appropriate. I mean,
Yeah.
that is a beautiful thing. Did we cover E? Now, did you say E? Did I
Yeah.
miss
Yeah.
E?
Yeah. Economical, not,
Yeah.
yeah, investing. So that was really about investing. Yeah.
Brother Bedford, is there anybody who's listening tonight that asking Constance any questions? Do you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah, well, we have a question that just came in from Mary Ann, and she wants to know, besides offering advice in your books, do you offer any mentoring to young ladies?
Oh, so I do mentor. I do. And so a lot of people ask me if I coach, and I just don't have the capacity. I have a lot of agents that I have to coach.
Yeah.
But I definitely mentor. Yeah, I give advice every now and then, but I don't have any kind of coaching programs. But I just love to help. One of the things, Dr. Fraser, is I'm not that emotional person. I don't cry. I'm not that type of speaker. But I tell you, the plight of Black people, that brings me to tears. Is when I hear your speech, or when I hear, the possibilities for us, things that we can do. That is what churns for me. And I'm telling you, that's my passion, is helping us. Like, we need so much help, but there's just a lot of opportunity out there. And I just want to encourage people to do the same thing. You said, Dr. Fraser, the first time I heard you, I think it was in 2012 or 2011, you said one of the most important things is, don't wait until you get there and just stay there, but you got to reach back and help somebody else. And that was so impactful and so meaningful for me. And I said, yeah, I got to reach back and help, my brothers and sisters, my nieces, and all those young people. And I challenge everybody else to do the same. Don't try to arrive and get there. And I'm there and I'm here. Everybody else, you talk about rugged individualism, right? That's
Right, that's right.
yeah, right. Capitalism.
Right.
People get there and it's all about them. But who are you helping? Who are you reaching back to? And that's important for us as a community to do it.
Yeah. You also are a wonderful example. You work hard. You really do. And even, you
Thank you.
say you work 4 hours really hard a day, and then the rest of the time you spend really cultivating, nurturing, bonding, and
Yeah.
building relationships within your camp of people that you work with, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hugely important. So that's
Yeah.
really, it's work, but it's work that you love, and it's really not like work, right?
Right.
You'd say,
Absolutely.
Doc, how do you work 12, 14 hours a day? Well, it's not work to me. This
It's
is what I
not. Yeah.
love. This is what I want to do. There's nothing I enjoy more other than being with my family, right? This
Yeah.
is what God has put me here to do.
Right.
So So outsiders may look at it as hard. And so maybe
Yeah.
that's important for people who are getting started, because there's a new line that I'm using now. You'll love this when you talk with your real estate agents, that everything you want in life is on the other side of hard, right? You got to work at it,
Yes.
right? You got to
Yes.
work at it. You got
Right.
to stick with it. You got to
Yeah.
focus on it. But you are a model of that. And that's why you are where
Thank
you
you.
are at 44. Hell, you went to the lowest economic levels of capitalism with the bankruptcy, right? First you were here, then you were there,
Yeah.
now you're
Yeah.
here again, right? And
I'm
this is where,
going. I'm going.
yeah, but this is where you're going to stay,
Amen.
because you learned the lessons that you needed to navigate and negotiate the valleys. Um,
Absolutely.
what's the next big thing for you?
Oh,
Other than a
Jesus.
TED Talk, that's a big thing.
Yeah, yeah, we're doing all kind of stuff. So we have the co-working space, and we are coming out with a program called Cooperative Economics. And what that is we're and it's an online training series. So one of my things is teaching entrepreneurs how to really properly establish their businesses. So when I have real estate agents, it's not about me showing them how to sell houses. It's really about me helping them to create their businesses, how to create a sustainable business. And so I've taken that model. And so with the co-working space, that is the purpose of the co-working space, helping entrepreneurs. So we're doing an online training series called Cooperative Economics, where we're showing them. So our first training is coming out next month is structuring your business. You know, Dr. Fraser, I've been able to get lines of credit on my business, credit cards on my business. I thought I use them or spend them all. I've gotten the SBA loan. I've gotten the PPP loan. I've gotten the EIDL loan because my business is properly structured. And I talk to people.
That's right. Did you get a PPP loan?
I did. Yeah.
And it's very,
Yeah.
very low interest. And if you manage your books right, you probably won't have to pay it back.
I'm hoping to have it forgiven. That's the plan. That's the plan. Almost $500,000, over $500,000.
Wow. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. So, but it's about leverage, right? But it's also about setting up your business.
But your business is probably really structured well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You have to learn how to structure your business.
Right. You have
Yeah.
to know how to structure your business. You paid your taxes. So you are a legitimate business, and you're actually the target. You're a small business, but the way you've managed your business, structured your business, paid attention to details, right?
Right.
And this is why you're one of the few,
yeah,
your size, that I've talked to that has actually gotten that kind of money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a blessing, but I tell you what, this is the way we're structured. I just want to help other people do the same thing because it's out there. They say what less than 3% of us actually get SBA loans. So and it's partly because the way that our businesses are structured. We're just not taking care of them right. We're not doing it right. So that's part of what we're doing with the online training series is just help. We'll have others about leadership and marketing and sales and just different things to help people with their business. So not just beautiful memes about, entrepreneurship or posts about entrepreneurship, but giving people the actual step-by-step and the tools to properly run their businesses. So that's what's next for me. The other thing is we're coming out with a talk show called Conversation Starters. Robert Antoine and I, and we're, interviewing, thought leaders and, celebrities and things like that. And so that's out. We actually interviewed Dr. Jamal Bryant yesterday. That was fun. I know you interviewed him about last month. So that was really fun. Smart man. So, we're doing that as well. And I'm just kind of like, getting out of the day-to-day of the real estate. I'm still there, but getting from behind the desk and allowing other people to run things and, being able to just venture out and do some other things that I really want to do.
Knowing what you know, Constance, what advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
Woo!
Knowing what you know.
Yeah.
And now you go back and you're 15 years old and somebody's talking to you, you're talking to you, what advice would you give a 15-year-old?
I would say, you know what, listen, you're gonna make some mistakes, relish in them, because you really, when you're in your 20s, you kind of, just like you talk about those iterations of life. When you're in 20s, you're really kind of not sure. When you're in your 30s, you really kind of start learning yourself. When you're in your 40s, you really start to know who you are and what you want. So just relish in the mistakes. It's not where you end up, it's going through the journey, and just relish in it. Like, there's gonna be some things that knock you on your butt, Constance, but keep fighting anyhow, the way you do. And don't stay down for so long. Just make sure you pop back up sooner than I have done. Sometimes some stuff can just knock you on your butt, and you can stay there for a little bit, get up eventually, but just get up a little bit sooner. It's temporary. It ain't death. It's temporary. Get back up. And make sure you pay your taxes right. I had to pay tax. I got audited in 2004. Make sure you don't play with three people: the I, the R, and the S.
That's right. Don't. Ooh, that's huge. That's huge. Pay your taxes, especially as a small business person. So, someone asked me, "Do you have a pet? Do you have a pet, a dog or a cat or?"
Yeah, I have a German Shepherd, and I can't stand him. Hate it.
Is that so? You bought him, or did your husband buy him?
What did you say?
Did you buy the dog, or did your husband?
I bought it for the kids, but I hate that I did. I hate it.
What happened?
She's vicious. She's a German Shepherd. She don't like nobody.
Yeah, that's a wrong kid dog.
Yeah, right? She's very protective, but she don't like nobody, and she's just horrible. She's horrible to people, and she pees all over the place.
I got a few colored friends that are like that too.
Yeah.
All right. But we have a dog in our family. We've had dogs, but we have little dogs, right? They're sort of lap dogs and play dogs, right?
Yeah.
And and the beautiful thing about the right dogs is they just provide unconditional love. Brother Bedford, do you have a dog? Have you ever had a dog?
No, I'm not a pet lover.
Okay, you're not.
I'm not a pet lover.
Right.
No.
I want to kick that dog every time I go out to the garage and see poop on my garage floor.
Oh yeah, no, that's not good. That's not good. But generally speaking, dogs provide unconditional love. And so the gentleman asked me what advice would I give my 15-year-old self, and I said I would say to my 15-year-old self, be the person that your dog thinks you are. Right? Your dogs love you, right? Generally speaking, except for if you get a German Shepherd, right? So that would be my advice to a young person, is to be the person that your dog thinks you are. I love it. Dogs love you because they think you're wonderful. So if they think you're wonderful, be wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
We're down to 4 minutes.
Yep.
I just want to ask you a couple of questions. I don't know if do you have a favorite author or two? Who are your favorite authors?
I like T. Harv Eker. The Secret Millionaire Mindset, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I like, I like T. Harv Eker. There's a lot of things he said, when you talked about working hard earlier, and one of the things he says is, in life, if you are willing to do what is easy, life will be hard. But if you're willing to do what's hard, life will be easy. And, right. That's a principle that I try to live by. That's why nobody works harder than Constance Carter. You couldn't outwork me. And, that's kind of, been the foundation of who I am. And just the thought. Dr. George Fraser is Success Runs in Our Race. That's another one of my favorite authors, favorite books. Love him. You look like him. You look like him. I love Dr. Dennis Kimbrough's The Wealth Choice. It's one of my favorite all-time classic. Yeah.
That's great. If you when you die, if you could come back as anything, what would you come back as? Would you come back as another human, a dog? What would you come back as?
I think I would come back as a Black man. I think I would. I mean, the power that is within Black men, everybody, the reason why you guys go through what you go through is because there is so much power. And
Yeah.
if one more person could exude the power that I know that we have, then that could change nations, right? It could change millions. So people like you, people like Brother Bedford, like you guys are leading the change. And just having that type of power, I think a Black man has it.
Well, that's a mic drop moment, baby. We love where you're coming from. No question about that. And actually, your choice makes a hell of a lot of sense because you will have lived a life as an awesomely successful servant leadership female.
Thank
And
you.
so why not go to the
Thank
other side, right? Try the right. And what would you be like as a man? Oh my God,
Man.
right? That would be the bomb.com. Well, that was a mic drop. That was an incredible answer. No one has ever said that. All the people I've asked that question, all the sisters I've asked that question to, even Black men didn't want to come back as Black men. That's really interesting about
Wow.
I don't know what
I
that
just
is.
admire you guys and love you guys so much. I want to be you.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, believe it or not, yes.
George, we do have we had two sisters who've been waiting, and they've been really trying to just ask Constance.
All right, go ahead. All right, well, then go
get these in real quick.
That's all right.
Yeah, so Tamiko wants to know, what are your thoughts about the 1031 real estate exchanges? Since you are the expert in this area, she wants to know now. What are your thoughts on that? And then I'll wait till you finish that, and then I'll ask you the other question.
So 1031 is great. It's for investors. So it defers your tax liabilities. You're going to have a tax liability at some point if you make a profit. You're going to have some kind of gain, but it just defers it. So they're great for investors.
Okay,
do it all the time.
The next question is 3 strategies for women in business today. Can you give 3 strategies for women? That comes from the dynamic Linda Clements.
3 strategies. The dynamic who?
Linda Clements.
Oh, Linda's gonna be on my show coming up. All right, 3 strategies. I would say, let's go back to what I talked about earlier, the 5 steps. Think about what it is that you want to do. So visualize it, write it down, speak it, and work it. So just do it. I want to say just that's it. Just do it. Execute. That's the mantra that I live by, is execution all day, every day. Stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for things to line up. Done is better than perfect. Just do it. And you might look like a fool doing it. Who cares? You might get knocked down doing it. You might fail doing it. Who cares? Get back up and do it again. Because 9 times out of 10, most people ain't gonna do it. You be the fool. Be the first foolish millionaire in your family.
That sounds like a book title.
A wonderful T-shirt for your office staff and your real estate agent. It would be a T-shirt like you have. It would say execution, real big, and smaller, execution, a little bit smaller, and then execution. Say it 3 times.
That's it.
Or you can write, execution, execution, execution. Because that's what you live by. That's what I live by. At the end of the day, you got to get it.
That's going on a T-shirt tomorrow. That's going on a T-shirt tomorrow.
That's right.
Trust me. I don't have ideas, but I'm taking yours.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
I'm gonna send you my execution T-shirts when I have it. Okay, I have to give you your address.
Brothers and sisters, you heard from the dynamic Constance Carter, who you will meet and greet, get to know and bond and network with at the Power Networking Conference. So that is the segue to our podcast special offer that we do at each podcast. It is limited to 5 people, as everybody out there knows, right? So the first 5 people who emails me at gfraser@frasernet.com. That's gfraser@frasernet.com. Every email is timestamped. In the subject line, you put "I'm in," and then you put your name and your cell number in the body of the email, and you email it to me. The first 5 people that do it will get this special offer in the name of the great Constance Carter, because no one works harder than Constance Carter. Let's make that clear. So a full registration at the Power Networking Conference, named by Forbes magazine as one of the top 5 conferences in America not to be missed. not one of the top 5 Black conferences, one of the top 5 of all conferences in this country, not to be missed. The only African American conference to have gotten that designation. We have moved the conference from July now to October 14th through 17th, and everything is going to be fine. We are going to take some special measures, make no mistake about that, to keep all of our people safe, because we know that we are more susceptible to this pandemic than others. So, October the 14th to the 17th in Houston, Texas, at the beautiful Hilton of Americas. Now, an adult registration at the conference is $1,500. A student registration is $800. We encourage an adult to bring a student, right? A student 17 to 25. If you add the student registration and the adult registration, that's $2,300 for the both of you. We're going to reduce that by $1,900 and provide it to you for $399 on this special All-Star Podcast evening. $399 for a student and one adult. The first 5 people, if you don't hear from me, you are over the 5 threshold. All emails are timestamped, so I know who's first, second, third, fourth, okay? So that is our offer for this evening. Brother Bedford, do you have any closing thoughts, closing words?
The only thing I'd like to say is Constance, again, this has been, man, just filled with so much knowledge and wisdom, just your experience. So thank you so much for sharing with us and really inspiring a lot of people to not worry about the mistakes and the failures, to not look for perfection. I mean, these were all of the nuggets that you were sharing. So I really appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you. Do you have a place where people can contact you? Because I have, again, a list of sisters. They're saying you mentioned mentoring. They want to know how can they contact you if you are open to that.
Listen, it has been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure. I had so much fun with you guys. And let me tell you something, if it ain't fun, I don't want to do it. So I'm always have fun whatever I do. And this has been certainly a lot of fun. They can follow me on any of my social medias at I am Constance Carter.
Okay, you got it. I am Constance Carter on all of the social media. That's how you begin the conversation with her. That's how you begin to connect with her. The last thing I want to say, George, before I turn it back over to you for your closing thoughts, is that this coming Tuesday, we have another one of our faculty members, more than a faculty member, Delano Johnson will be with us Tuesday for the Power Podcast All-Star Series. So that's what we have, George.
2 final thoughts for this evening. This is a tribute to Carter, Mrs. Constance Carter. Stay away from still people, still broke, still complaining, still hating, and still nowhere. That's number 1. And the final piece of advice, ladies and gentlemen, tonight: modern slaves are not in chains. Modern slaves are in debt. Stay away from debt. Love you. See you next week. Go watch Obama.